Hello, everyone. Welcome to Development Palates. I'm Aaron Loomis, coming to you from the Ventura Cigar Company studio, and with me today is Jiunn Liu and John McTavish. How you guys doing?
Very good.
I can't feel my toes.
So today we are talking about the Cubariqueño Protocol Themis Lancero. Cigar is 7.5 inch by 38 ring gauge. Comes out of the La Zona factory in Nicaragua. Wrapper is Ecuadorian Connecticut, and the binder and filler are both from Nicaragua. It is blended by Hector Alfonso. Price point is $10.50, and the cigar was released in July of 2018. So with all that out of the way, June, what was your smoking experience like?
Um, it was good. So, this is one of those Connecticut shade cigars that brings more of a traditional type of a profile. Nut cedar, like a light leather, some soft baking spices coming through. Retrohaling is very well. I mean, retrohaling is, I think, important in every cigar you smoke, but I really like the one for this one. Brought some nice white pepper into the mix, toastiness, breadiness, sort of a thing. Finish medium in length, mainly like a soft white peppers and like a mixed nuts. Strength and body medium. And then as I kind of get into the latter part of the cigar, the main change is just the spice delivery. It starts to kind of creep through not only on the retro, but through like the mouth draws. But in terms of like flavors, it's pretty similar within the entire way. In terms of construction, I thought it was actually perfect. I rated both the burn and the draw to be amazing. Not necessarily easy to do. I mean, it is a Lancero. It's a lot harder to bunch and roll. Maybe hire some 7-year-old little girls to do it or something. I don't know.
Yeah. All right, John, what was your experience like?
I appreciate the 7.5 by 38 traditional Lancero that is the actual Vitola they say it is. It's always nice when someone sticks to a particular Vitola size, even though it restrains you on the amount of tobacco that's available. And June is absolutely right. This is sort of a return to the more traditional style of Connecticut's. I got sweet cocoa, light spices, and the retrohale, and the sweetness kind of had a candy type sweetness to it, not like a syrupy type sweetness. And I said it was sort of reminded me of gobstoppers with that, very candy like sweetness. It had a really nice cocoa that built up. And again, because it's a Connecticut shade style cigar, none of those flavors were overpowering in the palate. What was interesting to me is, although it was Connecticut shade, there's really no hairy or bitterness present on the first third. And that's something that I'm not really particularly fond of in Connecticut. Sometimes that bitterness can take over the profile, and that wasn't at all the case here. So the first third kind of continued to build a little bit of barbecue flavor, and then the cocoa kind of fell down once it hit a medium full level at the halfway point. Transitioning to the middle third, there's the hay, so couldn't get away from it. There was some hay in the middle third, but there's also some medium strength white pepper, which is good because sometimes on Espinosa blended cigars you can get a lot of pepper, and this was, like I said, just an accent flavor really. And then it just kind of settled into a light cocoa, light white pepper, toasted earth, with a little bit of sweetness, and that candy-like aspect had kind of fallen off at this point. And then some cedar and a little bit of mild bitterness going to the last third. A little bit of sweet hay, a little bit of sweet earth. And then it kind of had a little bit of creaminess, which kind of offset the bitterness, which was really appreciative. I also rated the burn construction and draw to be amazing. And again, like June said, that's not easy to do when you stick to the format of a Vitola that you claim it is. It's very tough sometimes to, especially with a Lancero, a true Lancero, not a cheating 40 Lancero, to actually get that to draw and burn properly. And this was perfect. Razor sharp burn, ash held on in 1.5-inch increments. There was like a minor amount of waviness in the second third, but it corrected almost immediately. And draw had a slight resistance, making it perfect. What was your experience, Aaron?
Yeah, the cigar started with a full mix of wood and cinnamon, heavy baking spice. 3/4 of an inch in, that baking spice is less cinnamon heavy and kind of more of a subtle creaminess kind of joins in to smooth things out. About 1.5 inch, cream increases, creating a floor body profile. Baking spice slightly behind the creamy wood. The first third is kind of slightly below medium. Getting to the second third, cream recedes a little bit. Wood remains up front. Baking spice still in the background. Retrohale is kind of heavier on the wood, but still a little bit of cream present there. About 1 inch in, wood continue its ascent over the cream and baking spice. A little further in, wood gains a little bit of a char to it as the second third's wrapping up. Wood along with a little bit of char still up front. Cream and baking spice in the background. Strength bumps up to be right at medium. Getting into the final third, Char start to pick up a little bit while the cream is decreasing. Baking spice had left the profile. About an inch in, cream picks back up a little bit, kind of smooths out the charred wood. Retrohale just carries that charred wood note to it. As the cigar comes to a close, cream drops out, a little bit of mustiness joins in, kind of with a fairly full charred wood there. Strength bumps up to slightly above medium. In regards to construction, burn was a little bit wavy, didn't need any attention. Ash held on about 1 inch increments, but the draw was perfect. It was just the right amount of resistance I prefer, so no issues with that. So Jiunn, what were your overall thoughts on this cigar?
I think the Cubariqueño guys doing these like Lancero line extensions, it continuously starts to work. It continuously works. I mean, I thought this was a good cigar. Again, more towards the traditional Connecticut shade side of things. So, if you want these new wave Connecticut's that just jam a bunch of like strength and spice, this is not it for you. But if you like more the traditional, but with more, I would say, pronounced flavors, this is definitely fits the bill. Although it is a good cigar, I actually do not prefer it over the thicker ring gauges, especially that Toro. I feel like with the Lancero, it lacks body that Toro had that I like so much about. But nonetheless, I wasn't disappointed, and these are good, and I'll smoke more of these.
Yeah. How about you, John? What were your overall thoughts?
Yeah, I think Jiunn hit the nail on the head. I don't know that there's another cigar company on the market that produces as many consistently great Lanceros as Protocol Cubariqueño has been doing. And with Jiunn, I did find that the regular Toro Vitola of this, to me, was superior. I agree. I think there was just some depth, and I don't know if that was in like a creamy aspect or whatever. It is tough. I mean, when you blend to a 38 ring gauge, you don't have a lot of tobacco to play with. What I think is going to be great is that a lot of Connecticut smoker hardcore Connecticut smoker people out there are going to go nutty over this Lancero because there's just not a lot of great traditional Lancero Connecticut shade cigars out there. Usually when you go Connecticut shade, you're getting, pepper forward or spice forward, and that's just not the case. What about you, Aaron?
Yeah, I thought the cigar didn't waste any time getting to the full flavors. Wood, baking spice, quick addition of some cream. Profile did become a little bit less complex as it went along. Had a little bit drop in enjoyment in that final third for me. Construction is really good. Don't really need to pay any attention to it. But like you guys have said, I'm in full agreement. I think the Toro is better than this Lancero. But this Lancero is not a slouch. It's still a very good cigar. I just think the Toro was, I scored it Cigar of the Year last year for myself. So it's really a high bar to live up to. And as we talked about, just can't stuff as much tobacco into this to create a similar blend. But if you like Lanceros, if you like Connecticut Shade, if you like the Themis, all reasons to try this cigar. But I think you just choose which Vitola that you're in the mood for, and you can reach for it, and you're gonna get kind of a representation of the flavor profile. I have no problem going back to the cigar again. So getting to the scores, we'll start at the top. John, you had a 7.52. Jiunn, you were next to the 7.17, and then I had a 6.72. So John, how do you think that matched up with your experience?
Yeah, that's bang on. So this is a good, slightly above good performing cigar that had perfect construction, and that's exactly where you'd expect it to be. Instead of being in the sort of really upper echelon sixes, the construction and the draw take it into the sevens. And again, I think, because sometimes you say, well, I mean, construction's a given, but in terms of Lanceros, it's not a given, and I think it's really important to stress that because so often we've been ones who pick up a Lancero and you have draw problems. So, it's nice to be able to pick up a Lancero and just know that it's going to be a perfect experience.
All right, Jiunn, how about that 7.17?
Yeah, this is we just had a video with 717. This is a contender for top 25 for me. It typically is within the last couple of years. So this is basically a 717 has been the story of consistently good cigar with perfect construction. So yeah.
Yeah, mine matches up as well. I mean, I think it was really good, flavor profile. I fell off in the final third. Really good construction. Kind of gets that high sixes. The way I score cigars, that's a really good score. Typically would make the top 25 list for myself as well. So, like I said, not as good as the Toro last year, but not many things were. So I think it's still a very good cigar. Any other final thoughts from you guys on this one? All right. If you're just catching this video on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to us. But also check out the full written review on the website, developmentpalates.com. Follow us on all our social media channels, and you can catch all of our review recaps on podcasts. So iTunes, Google Play, and Podbean. Thank you for tuning in. We will catch you on the next one.
Cubariqueño!